coming at you live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, presented by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sometimes you gotta let the cult of personality play out. 402-464-5685. Starter Hammer text on Hunter Lincoln Hotline. If you want to be into what we're doing, it's going to be a busy hour. Lots to get to. I want to say thank you to you folks. Congratulations for making it through the week, but I want to say thank you for hanging out with us all week and getting us through these days. It's greatly appreciated. The live video stream is up. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and now Twitter Live is up. So you can see the video stream there as well. Bravo, well done. Lots to talk about with the NBA and Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher and sports in general. Everything is wacky. Everything is wonky. Nothing is normal, and we love it. So let's bring in our guest. Hit this man's music, Rico, if you would, please.
Here's a guy that gives them more depth at UNLV, Evric Gray. He brings 9 points off the bench for Coach Tarkanian
in less than 20 minutes of play in a game. Here he'll have a chance. Oh, as he goes up for the dunk, Miller takes a piece of the arm. Two on Miller now. Team foul number 5. Here's another basketball player with a baseball background. He was a third-round pick of the Astros in '87 was Evric Gray.
Let's bring in EV, Mr. Gray. Coach, how you doing this morning? Thanks for doing this.
I am good. Driving to Las Vegas for a tournament and hanging out with my guys, and hopefully our guys can play well this weekend.
Yeah. What kind of tournament is this?
It's the AAU tournament with Las Vegas Knicks. They're Adidas sponsored team. And Compton Magic is in it, some really good teams, and we're going to lace them up and see what happens. Play hard and see what happens.
Where is the tournament? What facilities?
It's at the Tarkanian Center. Believe it or not. So we're going to play at the Tarkanian Center right behind Imperial Palace.
Okay.
One of the last old hotels that's left in Utah, meaning in Las Vegas.
You know them all. You know them all.
Yeah.
You know them all. We've been talking about this whole recruiting thing with Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. Ev, I got to ask the question, man. So how much do we not know or understand about money and recruiting in college sports?
You guys don't know. There's a lot you don't know about it. The thing is about college basketball or football or any sport, there's always people around the program. And around the program people is usually people with a lot of money. And it happens everywhere. Every school has a guy, that alumni that graduated from there that has a lot of money. And there's a lot of them. So it's just the people around the program that you guys don't know, or the average person don't know about, that helps college student athletes get through college. Let's just put it that way.
Is the focus in the wrong place, right? Because throughout the history of college sports, the people, those around the program people, want to do it for a couple of reasons. One, they're there to be close to the program because it helps them feed the ego, right? Their ego of being able to hang out with Tarkanian, be able to hang out with Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, to be close to the team, to the national champions. That's not unique to UNLV. That's every major program in the country.
Yeah, that is. I mean, you can go to any program. It's always those guys around your program. I mean, like I told you guys over the stories of over the time I've been on your show. It's, people want to hang out and be around you, and we're a really good college team, right, DP? So we had celebrities, movie stars, you know, traveling with us, being on a bus with us, and it wasn't just ordinary people with money. It was some heavy hitters that wanted to be around our program. So it's, you know, the temptations for these kids, even back in the day, it's hard to say no. Coming from the situation you come from, it's just hard to turn down something. So, like, you know, when, like that whole Nick Saban, you notice he started backpedaling like Deion Sanders when Jimbo said, hey, you want me to tell you what's really going on, how Alabama is getting these dudes?
Uh-huh.
And you notice Nick was like, oh, hold on. 'Cause he knows, because he's one of his ex-assistants. And that's why he was backpedaling like Daryl Green, you know, and that's why he was a little nervous. That's why I think he came out and said something about, you know, I'm sorry, I apologize about what he said. You know, it always happened at a function like that. And DP, you know what they do before those functions. You know,
Yep.
You know, have a few cocktails and you forget where you're at.
I've heard what happens at these things. I've never actually been to them. Allegedly. As far as you know. Well, but this is the thing. So, to your knowledge, is it possible for a Power 5 program to not have paid athletes at any point?
No.
Right.
And the thing is that before all this NIL stuff, I'm all for these kids to get paid. And people always talk about, oh, you get the free education. I'm like, come on, man. You know, like at a Nebraska football game, you know, one section at a home game pays for the student athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, players, one section for one home game.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could just say one home game.
Mm-hmm.
And all the money they bring into the school is ridiculous. And I think they should get paid. And, you know, if someone is willing to help a student athlete, I'm all for it. But now, you know, these guys, it's like the Wild Wild West now. And so, you know, this NIL stuff, and they just, you know, I don't know if it's $1 million behind some stuff, DP. I don't know, but I know some of these kids, I hear some rumors that some of these kids are getting paid a lot of money to go play football. And football brings a lot of money in. So I'm okay for them to get paid. And but they do need to put some type of rules to it a little bit.
Well, Rika and I were talking, and the difference between football programs and those, 85 players who are active each Saturday, or the 150 that are in the program, from behind that is much more difficult to manage and boundary than basketball. Basketball, you can turn a fair to middling program into a great program with 2 or 3 exceptional moves, 2 or 3 exceptional players in. Is it easier in your mind to manage getting basketball players their money to come play ball for you than it is anything else?
Yeah, I mean, football, like you said, you got 85 scholarship athletes, and then you have about, another 50, 40 walk-on situations. And but just like what BYU did this year, they had a company come in and gave all the kids a scholarship for a year, all the walk-ons.
Yeah. So,
you know, now having walk-ons is not a bad thing for people that's coming out of high school. It's okay to walk on because you might get your scholarship. You might just get your schooling paid for.
Yeah.
And a lot of schools are doing that. Now, basketball, it's only, 16, maybe 17 kids, probably 14 scholarship kids, 13. Much easier to manage. And that's why the basketball portal is what it is. If you can get a kid to transfer to your school and tell him, hey, I'll give you $100,000, and he was averaging 8 points at Valpo, yes, he's going to go play at Nebraska or whatever. If you can promise a kid that he can get an NIL, making 6 figures. But it's much easier to manage because you don't have that many numbers. Now, football, I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe a salary cap. I have no clue. I don't know if you guys talked about that, DP, but maybe a salary cap for football. But basketball is much easier to maintain because it's only a certain amount of student athletes.
Ev, we were talking about basketball specifically because it seems to me, right, for half the money that you would play to a football player, that you could, because you only need 2 or 3 guys each year to elevate your program, right? You need a couple of guys. Right. And if it is known that Nebraska or Oklahoma or UNLV or USC or whatever has a set number for said 4- and 5-star athletes, then that would be the way. That seems to me how you catch up with Duke and Kentucky and Kansas if you want to elevate your basketball program.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, if you can get 3 or 4 solid kids to come into your program along with, the guys you have returning, you're going to be good. Like, the problem is for these blue bloods, they get the 5-star kids and McDonald's kids. They're going to be one-and-done kids, but they're still young. But you're getting some solid 5 or 6 kids from proven programs that have been in different programs for 3 years. Some of these kids have been in there for 4 years with that COVID year. Mm-hmm. But, it's just having a veteran team is beating these. That's why these mid-majors are making it to the Final Four or even going further into the Sweet 16s because they can find 3 good kids, maybe some kids that played on the same AAU team, just like the NBA. They're all getting together a little bit, BP, and hey, let's go play here. Let's go play there. Let's go play at Nebraska. Let's go play at Omaha and see if we can win. Because if you look at it, if you can get, like you said, 3 or 4 solid kids with some kids coming back, you can keep your job, get a job, you can get your contract extension. And the thing is that these coaches are not really coming and recruiting high school kids anymore, because they're just going into the portal. So they know they can win right away. So if you're a new coach, if you win, you can win right away. It doesn't matter where you coach it at. It could be a low D1 or a mid-major. You can get to the tournament. You have a shot at it. So, it's very interesting, but it hurts high school kids trying to go to college because they just college coaches are just being lazy and get recruited in the portal.
Ev, so what would the numbers? Let's just, for the sake of this conversation, let's create. We'll call it Meatloaf State University basketball, right? So we can put it wherever we want to put it, but you're around today's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old basketball players of note, like guys who have some talent. What number, let's say you walk into the home of a 4-star basketball player and you say, what number is it going to take to get you to come play ball for me?
You got to go by the stars.
Yeah. What would you think? What would you
want to go by the star system?
Well, let's say that just a guy who can play Power 5 basketball.
Well, the number you got to start with is 6 figures.
Okay.
You got to start with $100,000.
Okay.
At least with anywhere from 100 to 200 with a 5. A 4, you can probably be around 100. Anything a solid 3, you can go $50,000 to $70,000. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's how I've got to be at that point. 5 stars, they got to start with at least, I'm going to say at least 100 to 200. And you can add some other stuff to it. Like I've heard something about a kid. I'm not going to say his name in school, but I was told that the kid got some money, DP, and his kids can go to the university for free, and his grandkids. That was the offer the kid got from the school.
Well, we know this. We know this happened. Look, we can say it. We know that BYU has figured out a metric to this thing on how to do it because the nepotism is hot and heavy. Like we understand that that legacies, cousins, nephews get preferential treatment. There are programs like that across the country. But based on what you're saying, if for the program that has it together, for $1 million, $1.5 million, they can build a pretty substantial roster right away.
Oh, yeah. You're right. You're 100% right. Now, you send a salary cap to each team, $1 million, $1 million or 1.5 million would be a great for any program. if you can afford it. A lot of these schools can't afford it. It just depends on how much money you get from these boosters and whoever pitching in. Because I heard a bunch of people are pitching into a pot, and they raise enough money for trying to get some of these big time recruits to come to their school. And at this point, you got to recruit your own
players, your own
roster.
roster. But again, if you know that this is the deal going in, we know that star power moves tickets, right? It puts butts in the seat. It buys hot dogs. It sells beer. It buys Coca-Cola. That if any program spends the money to get players of note and marquee names up on the board, that more people will come and there'll be more revenue in the stadium. So it is cyclical. Why aren't people? Wouldn't it just make sense to work from that?
Yeah, the other thing too, DP, you've been to a UNLV game. When we at our stadium, football, basketball, anything, we sell alcohol, and I wouldn't be surprised now. Some of these schools are going to start selling alcohol on campus to raise more money for situations like what we were talking about. That's why I'm so frustrated a little bit with UNLV, because of we've been doing this. We should be able to be good every year, considering all the resources we have. I don't know why we can't keep a good coach. I mean, Kevin he did a pretty good job his first year out. We'll see what happens next year, but you can bring in revenue so many other ways, and so that you can help your football team. If you're a mid-major, you want to compete against the Blue Bloods and raise money, and so you can get these kids. And maybe you'll have a kid that want to stay home, but you're going to have to pay him. DP, you're going to have to pay him. So there's way. I mean, you can avoid the boosters if you can make money off these, off home games, and I hate to say it, but alcohol is the way to go. If you really want to make more money and have some of these 5-star and 4-star kids come to your school.
It's also shoe deals. I can tell you that there are proactive folks in the country. Again, I talked to 2 coaches Monday. Just they're thinking of using the sliding system. That the number 1 ranked player, and that they will set aside room for 5 players a year, right? And that rotate them each year, so 1 in, 1 out. So if somebody leaves, that slot becomes available, right? You fill that slot based on how much money is in that slot, right? Your top 3 players, you put them at 100,000. The next 3 players, you put them at 75, 750. The next 3 after that, half, and then you could 50,000, and then you can go through and move players. That if you hold 16 players on your roster, 4 years is how you're looking at it. So you're going to bring in 4 every year, and you'll just rotate. I think that's close to how business is about to be done going forward.
Yeah, the crazy part, DP, that sounds like, I don't know how they're going to handle this. Some of these kids are going to need an accountant. They're going to need a tax person. And it's just going to be crazy. Me personally, it opened up a can of worms, this NIL stuff. It really did. But the NCAA did it. I think the NCAA did it because they were losing the star power especially for the basketball, on the basketball side. Football players got to stay 3 years. But, with this new deal, I think kids will stay longer if they're making a little bit more money. And I think the NCAA really was banking on that, because that's where they make their money at. Obviously having the star power of good players. But, and I think, me personally, I don't think the NCAA wants that one and done situation. They don't want them to eventually go to high school to the NBA, because they want those kids at least to play 1 year in the tournament. And I really think that's, I think the NCAA behind the scenes is fighting that. Just keep that rule that you got to go to school for 1 year, even though you and I know it's a freaking joke, because they only go to school for 1 semester. And,
that fall semester to get qualified so you can play, and then by the time that's done, the next thing for me, and again, I think the sliding is going to happen. I think it's going to happen just because it continually allows you to inject new blood into your programs. And you know the level of it. And young people will, the word travels fast. Hey, this is what the school is offering. So you might want to consider that going in. And then it'll help you understand where your program is compared to the elites. Like you'll know right away, oh, they're paying $100, $100 per 5-star, seven, you know.
Well, you're gonna need. Yeah, you're gonna need.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're gonna have to raise some money. You're gonna need some.
Well, but you can raise money.
Boosters.
Well, but that's what boosters are, right? Like we know those folks around the program that if you keep them excited about the program, about the talent coming in, and you have to give them new talent every year to be excited about.
Yeah, I mean it's me personally, like I said before. I don't know how they're gonna figure this out, DP, because there's some good things to it, and then there's some bad stuff to it. And when you involve money, DP, you already know people get greedy. People try to, I'm not going to say, influence the player with money, and I can see that. And and what's next? You're going to get bonuses for winning, on the road and this and that. So I really think they need to sit down and figure out what they're going to do.
But Ev, hasn't that already been done? Hasn't that already been done?
Yeah, it's probably been done a lot. We just don't know. I mean, I always tell people, I always get for, they always give me a hard time. Oh, you went to UNLV, this and that. I'm like, but they cheat everywhere. And I don't call it cheating. It's just these coaches making a lot of money. The school, they're making a lot of money off the kid. And if they want to give the kid some money, I'm all for it. And I don't think it's cheating.
Well, we're trying to get everybody on the same page with proactive thinking. Proactive choices.
I can't wait, DP. I'd like to see how they're going to do it. But once they figure out, people going to work around that. They're going to find a loophole in that, and they're going to. But that's
the people. That means the process isn't the problem. It's the people. It's the people. If you put better people in place. Again, we tried to figure out yesterday what coaching means, what great coaching, greatness means. All of this just shows you who folks are. And I think more importantly, the fans need to know who the people are. I think that's important.
Right.
So we're going to find out more. Listen, man, be safe on the road. Go get some wins this weekend. I'll talk to you when your tournament's over.
All right. I'll talk to you.
Appreciate you, Evric Gray. That is Evric Gray, UNLV. He's out here doing his thing. There's a lot to digest there, Rico. So we'll talk about that when we come back to one-on-one.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Allo knows businesses need reliable communication, both at the office and at home. Now more than ever. Just listen to Bill Mitchner from Lighthouse.
Before we'd have breaks in service, especially for internet, but we've never had any issues with Allo. It's always been there and available when we needed it.
At Allo, supporting your business is our business. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685 today.
Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, that frog will boil. As a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans, it's a story that rings true. We learn to endure the heat in silence. We apply what we learn to life, the bills, the job, the family, things we're expected to handle with ease. When life heats up around us, we just try to stay afloat. We let the water boil. Reaching out isn't easy, but you've never been interested in easy. You joined because you were not afraid of hard work. You are not a frog. If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait until the water boils. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach. Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices. Helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
In today's day and age, people are trying to do more and more projects by themselves. That might be better on the wallet, but it can also lead to painful sounds like this. Ow! Poor guy, trying to do wiring all by himself. Let's have another listen. It's just not worth it. Don't hurt yourself or make things worse than they are already. For any of your electric needs, call Joe at Ambition Electric today at 402-217-3415 or go to ambitionelectric.com.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Every time the back door closes, it squeaks and reminds me of how I used to go out back for a cigarette 2-3 times a day when I was stressed, when I was hungry, when I was bored. But then I think of how the stale taste lingered in my mouth, and I reach into my purse and pop a stick of gum. And the craving is gone.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to One-on-One. Lots to talk about with Saban and Fisher, and the discussions of the inner workings and the stuff that happens behind the scenes, behind the curtain, stuff behind the curtain of the Wizard of Oz, and you get to pull the curtain back and see what's really going on, because folks ultimately will tell you who they are. on purpose or not, they will tell you who they are. 402-464-5685. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to help Rico and I get to the creative space we need to get into, because what we're going to use is you're going to use the basketball template.
Mm-hmm.
The basketball template to figure out how to handle football, baseball, track, etc. Right?
Okay.
And we understand the difference between that folks are putting packages and deals together for individual players, but not all the players. And I think Nebraska has an opportunity to do something spectacular by addressing all of the players and then using NIL to do so.
Yes.
So we'll start with basketball because it's easier just for simple numbers.
Yeah.
Know. Let's just say 16 basketball players.
Okay.
16 basketball players. And we all know that there is a different, and you could tier it whatever way you want. So we need your creative thoughts. That the NBA draft slots from 1 to 32.
Yeah.
And 1 makes more than 16, 16 makes more than 20, etc. And the motivation for players and the work that they put in is to get from position 32 to position 24, because there's more benefit of you being 24. And there's a way for you to get from 32 to 24. There's a way for you to get from position number 24 to position 16, because there's more money, and there's a monumental leap in the amount of money once you get into the top half of this slotting.
Yes.
So if you listed the positions on the team based on 1 through 16, and then to understand that the starting 5 is paramount. It is paramount.
Very important.
Also remember that there is an annual turnover, right? There's a constant reslotting.
You're going to lose,
right?
At least one starter.
Well, especially if you increase the talent in 1 through 5. Those players are then going to go
be
successful, but they're also going to have another reason to stay longer.
It's true.
Right? So if you said the best player on the team should receive the most, or you could say the first 5 players should receive the most amount of money, there is a number that works. And whatever number it is currently, it is more than they've ever received in that space that way before. Right? So we could say, let's just say for grins and giggles, 6 figures, right? $100,000.
That's exactly where I was going.
Right.
Starting 5, 100,000.
Your starter at
maybe your top 3.
I would say top 5.
Top 5? Starting 5.
I would say top 5 because we can all understand and justify what that means.
Those are the faces.
Right? We understand. Those are the people who sell tickets. Those are the people that put in the most minutes. Like all of those things. Right? Greatest name value, face value, otherwise.
Those are essentially the ones that are in crunch time if you need a game 1.
Right. So start.
Essentially.
And then let's say for
6, 7, 8.
Second 5, you can go
second 5. A lot of schools don't play the whole second 5.
Well, but at least it gives us numbers for the sake of this.
Okay,
right?
that makes sense.
Right. So let's say 50.
Okay.
For the next 5. Right.
If you want to get real risque, 6-man gets 75.
Right. Important.
You work your way up to it.
Important, right? Yeah. It gives you a thing,
like the most important person off the bench, the guy that you go to when you need a bucket, little energy, little spark plug.
Okay, and then for the practice squad guys, 25.
25.
Yeah. Right. That puts us, quick math, right?
Quick maths.
$875,000 for the basketball program.
7 phone calls.
Right. And 7 new sponsors.
8 phone calls if somebody's feeling cheap.
8 sponsors, 8 big boosters who want to make sure that this thing is done. Now, remember, this is just the base, because this is not the full extreme of what NIL allows you to do. Right? But it also allows you to prepackage your recruiting pitch to elite athletes. Right? Because here's what we're doing that nobody else is doing. Nobody's doing it. Now, it won't take long before everybody else figures it out. As a matter of fact, I apologize in advance that I gave this idea to a Division I coach yesterday, and he took it.
He probably didn't need the idea.
They really did.
You didn't need it.
They didn't need the idea, but they certainly were open to it.
It makes sense.
well,
the way that you explained it to me in what he said, it makes sense.
Well, because in having the conversation, and this is a team that did very well this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're okay.
They were okay. And what was said was this removes the headache of recruiting for me. Because when I go to somebody, I have this resource package available. I don't have a top 5 slot available for you.
But what I do have
is this, and it gets you in the door and allows you to compete for those top 5 spots. And
in this spot, this is what you'll be making.
And this is
outside of anybody outside of here that wants to bring you in and do whatever.
Right, because then they could go to their shoe company, which is a pretty prominent shoe company.
It's okay.
It's okay. Who could sponsor the program at the level of the people that they needed to pay. Right? Because coaching shoe deal versus player shoe deal, right? Which is another way to
forget that coaches can have shoe deals.
The coach shooters are 6 figures, 7 figures. So imagine that these shoe companies. Again, this is the way this works. The shoe company would go to the coach and say, "Listen, we will sponsor the starting. We'll give shoe deals, individual shoe deals.
Mm-hmm.
There's a team shoe deal, but then there's an individual package that you can put together for shoe deals for the starting 5."
I know some people that would love that.
right? On top. So you get the sponsorship. So let's say said shoe company sponsors an additional $500,000 a year for that, just for that.
That starting 5 competition is going to be intense.
Plus, it allows them to go outside of that space and get additional NIL deals.
Mm-hmm. Outside of the 100K.
Right, outside of that. And remember, the reserve players still can go out and get into NIL deals, and they also can move up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's some benefit to you going from a walk-on to you becoming a scholarship player in the second 5.
And some of the second 5 are prominent names that people know. Like, could you imagine this? Like Keisei Tominaga? Like, he's not a starting 5, but people love him.
Well, here's the benefit of having international players currently is that they're limited in what you can do.
Oh yeah, I forget about that.
Right? They're limited. They're limited in what you can do for them, but that doesn't hurt you because it allows you more in the pool.
Yeah, I forget about
that. It allows you more in the pool. So you understand what we're talking about now, right? For that kind of money in that program, you can literally change your program around.
Yeah.
And then as the slots become re-available at the end of the year, the players who are slotted know their place.
Mm-hmm.
They can make a decision, right? But they can also go and say, hey, listen, I'm currently slotted at North Dakota, which their numbers wouldn't be the same as Nebraska's.
No.
Right? North Dakota State's numbers wouldn't be the same, but they would be available.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to pluck off the top 2 players from a lower school, you have a package together for that.
Look, this is what we can offer you.
Here's the minimum. Now, remember, we're talking about a lot of guys who aren't getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
So there's room for movement. Let's say, number 1, let's use Nebraska for sake of conversation. Bryce McGowan's is number 1. His whatever was slotted for him, either you have a recruit that fills it or you have a transfer that fills it. At the very same level of what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
How much easier is it for you to recruit knowing what this is in play?
Now, my only issue with that would be, do you currently have somebody on the team that would fill that?
Again,
not Nebraska, but like on those teams, like do you have somebody that
those slots would be filled because you project, you can look and go, okay, here's who's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Here's who's coming in.
Is he going to take that starter spot, or is one of the reserves going to move up to take that?
Again, all a part of what all a part of you doing the appropriate business,
mm-hmm.
which is identifying talent, allocating talent, and then placing talent.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody knows where they stand, which is what every athlete wants. I want to know where I stand with you. Again, all of this is a plus because this doesn't exist right now.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't exist. But if you've got 7 returning players, you can look at it and go, okay, I've got 2 number 1s, 2 number 7s and 2 13s. I now know what I have to work with. And no coach is unaware of what talent he has on the roster. Like, you can ask Nebraska football that they would tell you that the slots for defensive line need to be filled. And here's what we have, what the resources that we have to do it. It would simplify a lot of the chaos.
It really would.
It would simplify, but it also allow you to put a package together that says, listen, here's how this is. In this space, you get a base, you get incentive through being a starter, you get additional incentives through our major sponsors. So let's say Mercado and Adidas and, I don't know, for sake of discussion, Honda of Lincoln.
Sure.
Right? For the sake of it, those 3 sponsors allow you to take care of a lot of things, and they're pre-built in. All you can do is look down at the stadium, look at PBA, look at Haymarket. Those sponsors are available, and they're flashing in your face, right? But it also allows the university to go to the athletic department, to go to those people and say, this is what we're trying to do. Can you help us? And also remember that there are financiers who are waiting for a chance to do this. Because it puts them close to the program and allows them to have some say-so about what the program does. And it actually allows Nick Saban to do what he's doing, is to say, hey, listen, A&M, their starting number is 200,000, and I'm having a hard time competing with that. Well, we all know that around the program, there are people who go, oh, no.
We can't have that.
We can't have that.
We can't have A&M.
Like, if this is the battle of big wallets, we're not going to be out big walleted. Like, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. And we know those people in the state of Nebraska. They exist. Right. Listen, they would much rather come to a game day knowing that their running back is a Heisman candidate because he's been promoted as such.
You know that running back down there?
Yeah.
That was my wallet.
Yeah. Well, but that's my guy. Like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
There's a way to do this. My frustration will be that people are just jumping in the pool rather than creating the wave. Like, Nebraska has every resource it needs to be out front and not have that money sit in the pockets of the people who are doing business rather than the people who are doing good business. Doing good business. I'm cool with people making their money on it. What I'd like to see is that it's functional, and that next year, this time, that the quarterback is you get the guy you want because you were prepared to get the guy you want. You know what it would take. You'd already have this put together. NIL won't be new a year from now.
No.
So the excuses won't be there. The programs that will adjust and adapt. Texas A&M was ahead of the game. Georgia was ahead of the game.
USC is ahead of the game.
USC ahead of the game. You could either sit back and complain, or you can get proactive. And again, I'm just telling you that given this 2 programs, literally, and just with 2 prominent coaches, prominent U.S. collegiate basketball coaches, who said, why in the world are you giving me this? This is amazing. I'm like, I was just talking to you. This happened to come up in conversation. There's a method to the madness. The best programs going forward will be proactive in how they approach this. You can sit back and pout over it. You can sit back and be greedy over it. You can sit back and idle in it and watch. Or you can get really active, really creative, and really productive.
Get to work.
I hope Nebraska is, I mean, again, you've got all the peripheral things, but ultimately I want to know what the plan is, because the plan allows us to all get behind it, understand it, and then help with it. That's all I'm talking about. We'll close out one-on-one when we come back.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Dave Osted from Osted's Golf. Let us make this your best season yet. Voted a top 100 fitter by Golf Digest, our master fitters have been trained by the same guys that build clubs for PGA pros like Rory, Tiger, DJ, and Jordan. Have old clubs? Trade them in Osted's Value Guide, or have our club specialists get your clubs swinging like new. Go to our website, make your fitting appointment. You're a click away from a better golf game. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. Start saving more for retirement now, so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Get free tips to help boost your retirement savings now at aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
A message brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Tom and Levi.
Tom is the smartest man I know. He's been a professor at 2 major universities, been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, he told me that he was having problems in his classes. I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. And he was telling them that he was doing it as a favor to them. But I think in reality, he just wanted to get out of there. I was really starting to worry because I saw something was wrong.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me, and my love for him was just immense.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
If your home water doesn't taste right, look right, or smell right, just call Bryant for the solution to your water problem. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln. It has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Join us at Cactus by Venue for our new America's Favorites menu. We're keeping your favorite dips and tacos and adding brand new dishes, including delicious steaks, burgers, pastas, and more. Focusing on vibrant casual dining using a blend of fresh ingredients prepared from scratch. Located at 56 and Highway 2 in the Edgewood Shopping Center, see the whole menu online at cactusbyvenue.com and order yours to go at venuedelivered.com. Cactus by Venue, America's favorites.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Alla knows businesses need reliable communication, both at the office and at home. Now more than ever. Just listen to Bill Mitchner from Lighthouse.
Before we'd have breaks in service, especially for internet, but we've never had any issues with Allo. It's always been there and available when we needed it.
At Allo, supporting your business is our business. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685 today.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You got to do the new edition dance. Final segment of One-on-One. We got a couple of texts. The weird thing is I never know who's listening. Different day, like different people around the country are just DP. This is so-and-so. And can we talk? Can we talk about this idea?
You have to go through me.
You have to go through, go through Rico.
Sorry about it.
You have to go through Rico.
I'm the first line of defense. Then it's Becky. Then it's DP. Those are the rules. I gotta vet you. I don't care if you've known DP for years.
Well,
I gotta vet you. Sorry, buddy. He's here now.
One
stealing his ideas.
One is somebody who's a name, and you just go.
Then I definitely have to vet him.
Right, and it's just the whole point is that there are people who can help this university with their resource, with their brain, with their access, and there are players who care about this program. And so if there is a way for them to help facilitate things getting better more quickly than otherwise, they want to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one text was somebody that has a business, and they're like, listen, I feel like I can help. I just don't know how. So can we meet and have that conversation? Well, yes, we can. This person, they own like 10 restaurants.
Same.
but that's the thing. It's there's so much stuff. There's so much good here. There's so much good in the Nebraska athletic department. There's so much good legacy, like great stories, great people, a fan base second to none. Like you guys care about it at a level that most people wish they had somebody care about them.
Mm-hmm.
Then it becomes the collective, what's good for everybody. And I think that's the way I like to process things is what thing about Nebraska athletics is good for everybody, that everybody agrees on and everybody can get on board with. Those are the things that you jump on board with and then move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then ultimately, if you want the best for Nebraska athletics, that we can get on the same page and help move it forward. Whether you're a fan, a booster, a sponsor, a regent, whatever, former athlete, former coach, once you get to, okay, can we agree on what would be good in this space? What would be good for the football program? What would be good for the players? What would be good for the ticket holders? Once you work from that, everything becomes simple. But there are too many people working from their own narrative, their own agenda to do the basic good things first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all this is for me, is I'm sitting back going, you guys, this should be amazing, right? Like this should be amazing. And you know this should be amazing because it's been amazing. Like there's a way for Nebraska to be at the top of the pyramid, football pyramid. We know that to be true because it already exists.
You've been there.
Like it already exists.
It's not it's not a long lost memory. It's not a pipe dream,
right?
Because you've been there. You've experienced it. You've tasted it. You've touched it, and now you're just a little far away from it right now. But the fact of the matter is, you have the trail. You have the blueprint.
Phenomenal, right?
You got to follow it.
There's a way to do it, and hopefully, in our discussions, at some point, we spark an idea that moves things forward.
Maybe make a couple changes to the blueprint, but you have the blueprint.
But you have a floor plan.
Yeah.
Like you know what it looks like. You got pictures.
You can make it an open concept. You can get rid of some of the walls.
Sometimes just change the ceiling.
I do like open concepts.
You're a high ceiling guy.
I don't know. I don't really care. Well,
everything's a high ceiling.
Ellie likes to be thrown up in the air. That's rude.
Sorry, Rico.
Uncalled for.
Sorry, yeah.
Ellie likes to be thrown up in the air, so yeah, I'm a high
Yeah,
ceiling.
yeah,
guy.
high ceiling
I can't
guy.
have low ceilings.
Yeah, right.
It's dangerous for her health.
It's good. It's good. Axel says this. It's a long lost memory. Oh, let's remember.
I don't think it's lost. It is long
It's just
ago.
Remember. I do want to share this again. I tell you, my phone rings all the time during the show. But I've got friends in Cincinnati, and they sent me this. Bengals draft pick Cam Taylor-Britt already impressing teammates.
I saw that.
It's what you want to hear. It's what you want to hear.
Good on you, kid.
Good on you. Good on you. Represent. That's how you close it down. I'll send it to the Captain Show and Rashawn Jackson. We'll close it out with have a great weekend and go Big Red.